What's good? What's good? It's your boy Q North Star in the car. On a cold morning. Very cold. I was thinking about something this morning, and I just thought it was kind of fitting to maybe talk about it a little bit because I was going to talk about it later, but I didn't want to lose my train of thought about where I wanted to go with it. And I was thinking about calling this video, black men have to be subservient. And I was just thinking about it because I was watching, as you can see, probably, I don't know if you can see it on the video, but there's like smoke coming out of my mouth. It's so cold, but it's upstate New York for you. But anyways, I was watching some of the sports news about Marshawn Lynch and all the stuff that was going on with Richard Sherman and them calling him cocky and arrogant and all this other stuff. And I was just thinking about it because I'm like, it's funny how it's like black men have to be subservient to everybody. It's like almost like all races of people. If a black man thinks for himself, he's being cocky and arrogant, or if he's not doing what he is being ordered to do, he's being out of line. And so I was thinking, like, wow, it's so funny how, like for example, when that dude on the Philadelphia Eagles, the white dude that was going to Riley Cooper, when he went around talking about nigga this, nigga that, and he'll take down every nigga at an all-white concert, the NFL half-heartedly looked into it, was kind of like, just words. And it's funny how that works. What if it would have been Deshaun Jackson talk about crack of this, crack of that at a, I don't know, Drake concert or something? It would have never left the media. And it's funny how it's such a double standard. And you can find this in any walk of life, whether it's in the sports arena, whether it's in the corporate life, whether it's in whatever walk of life that you're in. You can always find these walking contradictions where you have a quote-unquote company code of conduct, and you see one group of people violating it on a daily basis. But if you, as a black person, black man in particular, if you violate it, then it's like you got to get written up, you got to go through all this bull crap, you got to go to sensitivity training and all this other crap. But you see every other race and group of men who make these, out of line jokes or sexual jokes or whatever the case may be, and they never get penalized like a black man gets penalized. And I was also then, the other thought that popped into my mind too was like, it's like black men are the only people that have to be subservient to two groups of people, which is predominantly white men, or white people, and then black women. Because it's the same issue that black women have with Tommy Sotomayor, which is he's not subservient to black women. He says how he feels how he says what he says. And so it's like, to them, he's being out of line and disrespectful, but in reality, he's just speaking truth and calling it how it really is. And people have a problem with it. So it's like, as a black man, if you don't make yourself subservient to whoever, then you're being out of line, you're being disrespectful, you're being rude. And don't be a black man that tells truth. It offends everybody, all across all walks of life. So it's just, kind of funny to me that with everything that's going on right now with race in this country, with everything that's going on historically with race in this country, the lies that I call it the delusion of inclusion. It's funny to me how, we're supposed to feel like as black men that somehow we're more accepted in modern era times than we have ever been. And that can't be further from the truth, because the moment when people came out and they said they had issues with Richard Sherman, and you hear how this brother, I watched a few of his interviews, and you hear how this brother speaks. The brother is not ignorant. He's not, he don't go around sounding like a mama's boy. He sounds like, one, he had his pops in his life. He sounds like a man. Sounds like what a man is supposed to sound like. He stands his ground. He speaks how he feels. And in particular, the white media has a problem with it, and Negro bedwenches have a problem with it. Why? Because the Negro bedwench is feeling like, well, this dude is gonna get them in trouble. Like, like one of Paul Mooney's jokes, And it's like some black people just don't understand, because you are black in America, you're already in trouble. And, I keep trying to tell people, especially my people, that this country to this day has never taken out of their laws that black people or slaves or whatever they call us are still technically not considered citizens of the United States. So you can't be a part of something that you were never meant to be included in. And so when a black man I can't call that for Richard Sherman. All I'm saying is for myself, I've come to an understanding and a conclusion that all that I see in this country was built by my ancestors, but it was never meant for me. It was meant for them. So at the end of the day, one has to ask themselves, why am I trying to fit in somewhere where I'm not wanted, unless I make myself subservient to the ruling class or the ruling people or people who've been set up to rule over us. And that's one of the things that you have to also take a look at when you break down the welfare system, where a man who doesn't want to be a father has to financially be forced to take care of a child that he doesn't want. But if a woman does not want a child, she can just give it away or kill it, and there's no financial repercussion on her at all. And in most cases, they'll do an abortion for free. So, that's just one thing that I noticed that to me is it's almost like hushed and swept under the rug, that the two primary dominating oppressive people over black men are predominantly white men and black women. And typically white men set up the black women or the woman to be over the man, which is why they started this whole child support campaign by saying that, if the man is the only way you can get anything from the government is if the man is not in the house. Because if the man is in the house, then there's going to be some form of structure. You can't easily come in and manipulate the situation if you're the government, because a man's first instinct is to always be defender of wherever he's at. So he's not just going to let someone just come in there and tear him down or tear his reputation down. But if the man's not there, it's much more easier to come in, manipulate the woman emotionally, because women are more emotional than men, and manipulate them to turning against men altogether, and then incentivizing it by saying, well, if you have all these bastard kids, we'll pay for them, we'll fund it, we'll fund them for you. And I still think, even though it's very evident and obvious, I don't think a lot of black women really understand that they're participating in a vicious cycle in the system, where it makes the black man, which is genetically more dominant and stronger, it's putting him in a submissive position, because a man without knowledge of self can be easily be manipulated and enslaved and imprisoned. And that's where the prison industrial complex comes in, and that's where predominantly the so-called single black mother fits in there, because what they don't understand is that when those kids typically grow up and become emotional, and usually the ones they fund are just the dumb chicks that just do dumb stuff and they never punish them. So when the child gets older, they do dumb stuff, and because they never saw their mother get punished, they think they're going to get the same treatment, but they don't. They get harsher sentences, longer sentences than white counterparts that commit the same crime or the same drug crime. So I just was, thinking about it, and it crossed my mind the fact that it's like if a black man isn't subservient to the white race or to a black woman, then typically they're frowned upon and they're looked at as being arrogant, cocky, out of line, jeopardizing the integrity of the league. Just stupid stuff. Just code words that white people use to try to resurrect this old slave plantation. They used to call them uppity niggers back then. Now they just call them, unprofessional or thug or whatever the case may be. And I tell you, there's no bigger thug in the world than the European male who goes around stealing people's resources and killing and starting wars on all continents. I'm surprised they haven't waged war on Antarctica yet. But nonetheless, I'm gonna end it right here. But it was just something that I just thought about and thought it was very interesting to share, and maybe some people can interject and put their comments in and personal perspective. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. I don't know. All right, well, I'm gonna continue this wonderful commute to work, and hopefully everyone will have a great day here. All right, peace.